Heads up, everybody. ES4 Energy Shift Episode 4 on deck. With a new moon in Pisces, we are piercing the Pisces veil. And ironically, this video, as we start to watch the surfers, is very apropos. We've got water energy coming our way. And we're going to talk all about this window. It's a 9-day window. The end of the window is the vernal equinox. That's when sun goes into Aries. But until then, we got a nice, pleasant, very pleasant space and time, this energetic window. Here's our playbook, ES4 playbook. And here's the when, window, and what. So we've got the new moon in Pisces happening here on the 10th of March at 3:05 a.m. Central Standard Time. We might be changing our clocks around. I just didn't look. So that might be a daylight. I don't know, but it's Central Time. And then once that happens, then we've got about 9 days of this energy. It's very dominant. Nothing big changes until the 19th, and that'll be our next episode. But what we're talking about mainly is everything about the new moon. The new moon happens in Pisces on the 10th of March. It's conjunct with Neptune. Neptune is Pisces ruler. And so we got extra dreamy, extra idealistic, extra Pisces, extra fantasy, extra escapism. Everything Pisces is, magnified. And then a day later, Venus will jump into Pisces and actually be exalted there, and we'll talk about that. But here's sort of the list. Here's the list of alignments that we have. We've got the new moon in Pisces. It's conjunct with Neptune. We have Mercury just before the new moon sets, or not sets, but comes together, starts. Is Mercury leaves Pisces, and that's important because Mercury was in detriment and very much weakened, and that's what caused the last video, the last energy shift window. We had Mercury was a disaster zone, very stormy, unexpected, unreliable. Well, all that changes. So Mercury's out of Pisces now, out of detriment, and thinking strong and passionately. Then Venus and Mars, that was the electrical impulses are part of those, especially with the square over to Uranus, but that's broken up. And then Venus, right at the time they break up out of conjunction, Venus is going to jump into Pisces. And the square over to Uranus is going to be waning as well. So, and then Venus, that entry into Pisces happens the day after the new moon. Then what I want to show you here, what you can see, we have one set of squares. That's the Uranus that's waning out. And that's pretty much no more, especially throughout this window, this 9-day window. You're going to see less and less of that. And all you're left with is sextiles, opportunities, and semi-sextiles in conjunction. So growth and opportunity, and a lot of Piscean emotions and feelings and ideals and connectedness, etc. And then a day after this, the new moon, Venus jumps in. So this happens at 20 degrees Pisces, 17 minutes, and it is about 7 degrees away from Neptune, so well within our conjunction. What's it all mean? Well, looking at all these variety of Piscean pictures, I start with the water because it's sort of a lazy, fantastical myths are gathering near the ocean's edge. It's very creative time, pleasant daydream. You find yourself drawn into vivid scenes that swirl and shift like the patterns in the waves. And follow your imagination where it leads. But be aware that waters here can rise swiftly and reality may not be as it seems. And then again, especially once Venus makes her way in, with art, and she's exalted, remember? So she has everything to do with performance and beauty, togetherness, love, harmony. But together in Pisces, this makes it like a jazz improvisation. Harmonies in this astrological arrangement are fluid and experimental. It's go with the flow, inviting creative expression that bends expected conventions, like skilled jazz musicians exploring new themes. Can trust our instincts, sit back, and just sort of cue up the other cosmic ensemble of players and enjoy the experience. Go with the flow. New ideas might emerge from this. So what people might feel are possibly vivid dreams. This one over here, this picture is sort of a astral travel, but you can see it's in the water. So very apropos for vivid dreams and intuitive insights, exploration of spiritual or philosophical concepts, and engagement with the arts that's in there, and indulging in escapist type of environment. That's why I have the beer cans there, and especially Venus wants to just enjoy that time together and escaping together. And we'd be remiss if we didn't have some helpers, because heightened emotional sensitivity gives us a desire to help those, especially those who might be suffering, showing an increase in compassion. And that could be overwhelming to a lot of us. An interest in mystical or esoteric matters. That's why I have this sort of being able to start recognizing that we're in a matrix of sort, maybe feeling overwhelmed and hard to differentiate from reality and what is unreal. So fantasy versus reality might be overlaid for a lot of us, making it very hard to determine what's real and what's not. So we have all those archetypes there. And so what I've got is a picture of this. I know I'm sure all of you have seen this. This is where the guy's sort of piercing the veil. And the reason why is we have to combine Mercury. So because remember, Mercury is leaving Pisces, going into Aries. Well, Mercury maps new territory. So I want to take a look at Mercury here. And with Mercury now, the pathfinder in fiery Aries, your thoughts jump ahead and bold and curiosity to scout fresh domains, like an intrepid explorer pushing into uncharted lands. Ideas burst forth with drive and enthusiasm. So you can imagine this, where our emotions and increased sensitivity on the inside and feelings and artistic expression. And yet up in our minds, it's very clear. It's on fire. It's fast acting too. It's sort of impulsive. Mercury revs its mind motors into athlete's gear and the drive to charge forward by any means necessary. So Mercury in this, it's like out the gate, wants to go fast. It can burn out quick too. So you got to be careful with this, but it wants to go for the gold. Be careful not to burn out mentally. It's on this mental marathon. Mercury in Aries is not a marathon runner. So keep that in mind. Short bursts. But the point is, we need to combine the change in Mercury, the change in the mind and the cognitions is much clearer, knows what it wants, can be a bit selfish, while ironically the rest, so Venus, Saturn, Sun, Moon, Neptune, makes it a very dominantly Piscean feeling, but with a more of a clear, impulsive mind. So putting those together, I'm thinking we're going to have lucid dreams. We can see reality a little bit better than we normally would have because of Mercury in Aries. And so we can be piercing the veil, so to speak. So here's what I've got for our overall delineation with all these considerations. The waning crescent moon, this is the just before the new moon, makes its magical conjunction with the sun, that's the new moon, just after the sun officially separates from Saturn's sphere of influence. So what that means is the new moon is taking place outside of Saturn, but inside of Neptune's sphere. Even more magical is that this conjunction is within the proximity of Neptune, making this Pisces new moon even more spiritual, dreamy, fantastic, and idealistic. And just before all this takes place, the mental plane becomes clear-headed, self-aware, strong boundaries, and holds much vigor. That's Mercury goes into Aries, and Mercury will be in Aries through that 9 days of this window. So far in our delineation, we have a strong possibility of lucid dreams because of Mercury's beneficial transition. And if the metaphor ripples out into waking life, we might see a big wave of fiery spiritual awakenings, or even the collective awakening for that matter, since Pisces is the unseen connection between all living beings. As people escape in the Pisces influence, strong rational thinking envelops the discoverer individually. The Pisces influence of togetherness and collective cohesion, especially considering Venus exalted in Pisces, mixed with the surety and confidence of Mercury in Aries, we will undoubtedly see the best of the spirit world being enmeshed with and entangled to the rational and the brave. And I've got something new for y'all on these energy reports. Let me put this full screen. I'm going to zoom in at the bottom. You can see this yin yang meter. So what I'm going to do is offer up my estimation of just the overall energy in a bipolar kind of an arrangement. Is it yin strong or is it yang strong? And this one is a little bit of a mix of both. I'd say that the Piscean feeling states and sensitivities and spiritual stuff is much more yin. But we also have the new moon, which is not purely yin. It's as it progressively goes, gets more and more yang. So has to come back towards yang a little bit. And of course, our mental aptitude is a lot more yang. So putting all that together, I'd say we're just a little bit more towards the inside, even though we have a very dominant Piscean energy overall. I'd say it's not completely yin, but, more yin than yang. How about that? How'd you guys like the yin-yang meter? Is that worth it? Or would you like to see something else? All right. This is the window from March 10th through March 19th. In the next episode, guess what that will be at 10 p.m. What's happening there is the vernal equinox, and we'll talk about that in the next report, ES5, and I'll show you the playbook there as well. All right, everybody, you have a kick-ass week, and we'll see you for the next report. See ya.